Hello, my name is Ilona and today's Monday, February 6th. Yes, 2023. And this is actually a recap of my Dutch video. And the first thing I actually looked at was the balloon. Because there are a lot of things, of course, going on. I had to just laugh about it. I still have to laugh about it. To me, it was so ridiculous that massive balloon out of nowhere suddenly above America. And of course, there is one in Colombia, if I'm not mistaken, and above Canada. It's just ridiculous. Like they didn't know, they didn't see this coming. It's humongous. Well, to me, it felt like a combination. I also saw a message from Storm Rider on Telegram channel that this actually was from the dark energies and it has to do with an EMP weapon. That is an electromagnetic pulse weapon, and they weren't going to shoot it down unless they, of course, got all the data from this weapon to make sure how they were going to use it. I thought that was very interesting. There was something that resonated with this, but to me, this also felt like a white hat operation because it was ridiculous. It was everywhere, like everywhere. Even in the Netherlands, we had articles about this balloon. Almost everyone around the world was watching this balloon, which is of course a great distraction as well, but it also showed how ridiculous this was. And it took so long before they finally shot down the balloon. It was very interesting to see. So the first card I got was the Four of Cups, the energy of the balloon. Then I got the Ten of Wands as the central card. I got the Queen of Pentacles as the card in the past. I got the Knight of Pentacles underneath the central card. And for the future, or at least the energy of the balloon, was the Ace of Cups and the King of Wands. So this feels like a confirmation, like a yes, that this was a combination. I do believe that the dark energies actually are the ones that, how to say that, got this balloon in the air. They did not get what they wanted, but it was like they really didn't know what to do anymore. They are now in a position that they're completely in panic, so to speak. Like they're not seeing anymore where they're walking. So they're just doing things to get, still hold on to what they've got. They are in a panic because everything is falling apart. And they certainly didn't get anything out of this for themselves. But to me, this feels like a combination of dark energy. So they're the ones that got the balloon in the air. And then it kind of was taken over by the white hat, so to speak. That's what it feels like. So this entire circus around this and how ridiculous, and let's face it, Mr. B looked completely ridiculous, although that could be part of the dark energies as well, because they want to get rid of him as well. But they are in a very tough spot, like mentioned by other people before, like how they're going to handle this, because if Mr. B is going to leave the, the stage, then they're with, of course, stuck with Kamala, and most likely she will leave the stage very soon as well. And then you have the Speaker of the House, who happens to be a Republican. Not only that, it's very easy to get rid of this Republican, and then someone else could be Speaker of the House. So they really are not capable of moving anymore, because who could replace McCarthy as Speaker of the House and then become president? It's all possible. But so it's to me feels like the white hats let this happen and made the most out of it from their sides, of course, making the government look even more ridiculous. And I do think there was help from above to make sure that everything wasn't getting out of hand. But I have a feeling that the dark energies didn't get what they truly wanted. Or they weren't capable of fully using the weapon, or not getting fully the data. There's something that fell apart. So I think the white hats took care of that. But it was all part of the agenda, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. It's an agenda. In this case, it's like both agendas were played here. But I do believe that the white hats were the ones that were victorious in this case and really got what they wanted. The spotlight on how ridiculous things are. And the government, of course, have even more to explain to the people in United States, and I think also worldwide. It's a very strange phenomenon to look at all these media jumping on top of it. So it was part of the dark energy as well, but ultimately this is part of the agenda. And like I've mentioned before, it's very, you are going to see more and more the colliding of agendas, and you can just see what is the energy truly from the situation. So it can seem like it's dark energy, but ultimately it is really the white hats that have the best out of this all. This is just looked ridiculous, and I think a lot of people were just, what is this about? Why, how did this balloon that anyone could see, could spot from the ground, how did this get in the air? Why wasn't it detected before? And it's just getting like a circus thing. That's how you can see things. It's very, very interesting how this is unfolding. So, and I think people will still look at it like this is ridiculous, especially when you look back at it. It's very, very interesting how this worked out, so to speak. So the second thing is more of a Dutch thing, but I think it is very important just to see the agenda towards children. We have called the Kinderboekenweek, and it literally means Children Books Week. So there's an emphasis on children's books, and there's a writer that's going to do a poem. Well, this time they picked a writer named Pim Lammers here in the Netherlands, and people started looking into him. And there is an article, it is in Dutch, but really what it's talking about, that he has, Pim Lammers has books for children from like 4 years and older, about a farmer and a veterinarian, if I'm not mistaken. That's about two men falling in love, and about a lamb that really is a pig. That's actually the title. It's also for 4+. And that's about a child, at least explaining to children when you feel when you're in another body. So I think that kind of explains what the agenda is. This is for 4-year-olds, and that's not even the worst of it. He made a story, the trainer, in 2015. That was actually on his website, and he took it down. And this is about a soccer trainer and his pupil. And the pupil is what we call the D's. We have these alphabetical numbers. I'm not sure if that's worldwide, but someone who is in the D group is like 12 years old. That's the oldest, and then you get to the C, if I'm not mistaken. So this is explicit things happening between a 12-year-old and a mature soccer trainer. That's what the story was about. I managed actually to find the story, and my stomach turned. It's just revolting. And the article also mentions another writer that was also writing stories about this. This is about putting children in a very the emphasis is very explicit. This is really about putting children in that light, in a mature light, and it's sickening. And I'm in a way glad people spoke out. There are now about threats, and the writer is now stepping down, so he will not make the poem for the Kinderboekenweek, for the Children Books Week. And I'm not sure if the threats are real or not, but the problem is that the media is now showing this as, this is horrific, this is a writer, he has the right for free speech, he has the right to say things like that. So they're kind of just stepping over the fact that this is about children and explicit things happening. And they're actually showing it, and there's another writer as well, Ted van Lieshout, that actually was writing about this, that what if a 50-year-old wants to be doing those things with an older man? Things like that. Apparently he wrote a book about that. And it's just, I think it's very important that this should not be focused on at all. This should not even be a combination. Children cannot consent. Children should not be how to say, open for this. This should not even be something that needs to be discussed. Why do 4-year-olds need to know about, two men falling in love? Or, for instance, if it would happen in their family, they can discuss it on another way, if it's even important. But about not being in the right body, let children be free. But the cards I got, they were very interesting. The first card I got on this energy of what was happening is the Tower. The central card is the Six of Cups. That is the children's card. We have the King of Pentacles in the past. We have the High Priest and underneath the central card. And we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords in the near future. So to me this feels, this is showing the dark energies focused on children, programming children. That's what this is about. And already molding, their minds to a certain way of thinking. It's fine if you have feelings for older people, and it's fine if things happen. It's sickening. It's sickening. And I think it's very important that people were actually starting like petitions about this, and that this actually came out. But you can just see the media responding towards this. But their stories are falling apart. The Tower shows us that this system is falling apart. People are seeing right through this. People don't want this here. And I have to say, of course, in the Netherlands, we're quite tolerant. We do not tolerate this. This is not tolerated here in the Netherlands, and it's not going to be tolerated anywhere around the world. This is just sick. And I'm glad that this is actually being brought up and people are discussing this. And it's showing really this literary world with all these, I have to say, I wasn't aware of this. I didn't even know that these books existed. So, of course, it doesn't surprise me, but it's good to understand that you really don't want your children, open to these things and having these influences. Well, in the near future, it's almost like someone is working hard on this. Maybe people are working hard. Truth will come out. It is part of that truth, that really what's been going on with children, what the dark energies have been doing to children for a very long time. It's part of releasing the truth. And of course, more horrific things have happened, unfortunately. But this is part of showing people what's been going on. So ultimately, they will be able to comprehend the real truth and how far that really is going, with the children and what's happening there. So I think this is a good thing, that this is now out in the open. People are discussing this, talking about this. And I think in the government, even there in the, I think the Congress, it's the Tweede Kamer here, questions have been asked about this as well. And I think this is very, very important. We need to protect the children. It's about the children, and we need to protect them from these situations and things happening. I also taken a look at the energies for the coming week. Let's see if I have. There were some similar cards, which I always find interesting when things are like I'm pulling similar cards, so they're similar energy. Well, this is for the coming week. The energy, you have the King of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. So to me this feels like the Whiteheads are rolling out their agendas, but it will seem like it could be the dark energies as well. So really listen to your intuition when things are happening. But I think they're going to make real steps onto their agenda and how they want things to unfold. So the coming week, Whiteheads are pretty much running the show, so to speak, in that they will push things through, but it will not immediately see, there will be a lot of people who are not aware, that are not seeing this as Whitehead, or maybe because they're not listening to their intuition or far away from their own emotions and feelings, they will not see that this really is a good thing. So it's, again, it may seem like things are happening that are in the wrong direction, but ultimately it is part of the Whiteheads. So really tap into your intuition the coming week. So I think we're going to see some steps being made from the whiteheads, maybe some very clear steps, and some other steps may not be so clear. So it may look like the dark energies are still holding a lot of power. So that's a possibility. But this is really about getting in touch with your intuition and listening to that. Then you'll know which agenda ultimately is victorious. It could also be a collision of agendas, just like with the balloon, so that the dark energies will start something and then the whiteheads will take it to their advantage. The energies for, at least the advice for this week, we have the Four of Cups, we have the Seven of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. So this is the advice for us this week. And there's a lot of feeling and emotions. And this is an opportunity to just see what will come up. And it's very possible that things that we've pushed aside, we didn't want to take a look at, will come up. As you can see, the Four of Cups is about not being satisfied with what's going on, what you're seeing, what you're feeling inside of yourself, and of course see reflected outside of yourself. We have the full moon in Leo right now, so these are intense energies. It's about not knowing exactly where to go, what you want, which direction. It's a bit, this coming week, the advice is to really figure out what you want and get in touch with your feelings and your emotions. That's going to be very important, especially if you want to change things in your life. You need to get in touch with this dissatisfied feelings, or feeling like we're not going anywhere, or it can be all kinds of feelings that feel like you want to just shut it off. You don't want to feel anymore, you don't want to deal with it. But it's now the opportunity to see through all these things and really get in touch with your emotions and your feelings. So we can really step forward spiritually this week. So these are all the information I get for this card reading or this video. I hope to see you in another video. Bye.